The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr Speaker, I want to start by trying to offer a little bit of advice to the opposition, sir. And the advice goes to, well, they don't need to listen. They do need to listen to advice from somebody, and if they don't want mine, that's fine. I'm going to give it to them any rate, sir, and that is the simple advice of this. The voters of this country actually only vote on about two things. They vote on their hip pocket and their kids' future. And that's what determines what most people finally go to the polls about. So we can sit in this House and we can debate all sorts of things till late at night or under urgency, and the vast bulk of New Zealanders don't even know the Parliament is sitting. And we can debate the minutiae and have these fights about whether new carpet should have gone into Premier House or whether the BMW fleet was being upgraded. And, sir, again, New Zealanders don't actually care. And I'm trying to tell the opposition something that would be in their interest to listen to. What New Zealanders want is a credible alternative plan for delivering things that affect their hip pocket and their kids' future. So one of those things certainly would be about education and standards in education, because I don't know a single person who isn't worried about their kids' achievement. So if the opposition really want to start scoring some points, they should be focusing their attack on what would be something that would improve the educational outcomes of our country. But no, once again, we get back to whether indeed Premier House should have had some paint put on it after 12 years. Frankly, most people don't care. Sir, the other people will be saying, well, I'm really interested in whether our incomes are going to match that of Australia. What would you do? How would you go about it? What's your economic management tool? So I watched Breakfast TV this morning, and I watched Labor's opposition spokesman for finance.
What did he say?
Well, my colleagues have got to stop asking the hard questions and say, what did he say? I don't know what he said. Well, actually I do. I've got a transcript, and I'm going to help my colleagues by repeating what David Cunliffe said to Corin Dan's tough question. Corin Dan said to him, OK, but you're looking to get the surplus back into surplus by a similar time frame as the government here, 2016, something like that. So what would you cut instead, OK, to make cuts, OK? OK, that's a pretty simple question. That's a very straight question. I think the Speaker would let that in this House as being a straight question. What would you cut? Now, I want members to follow the answer. I want members to follow this answer, because I want some advice after what he actually said. This is what the Honourable David Cunliffe said.
Number one.
So, what Labor has said is that we will aim to reduce net debt, including the Crown's financial assets, across the business cycle. We believe that about a 10-year horizon is appropriate. We believe we can do that around as fast as the current government is planning to do, but in a much more responsible way. Because let's not kid ourselves, debt reduction is not the only goal here. You see the Australian budget. They are at the same time as reducing debt, managing to get more Australians into job, cutting their unemployment by 500,000 people to only 4.5%. We've got nearly 7%, 155,000 Kiwis looking for work, and we have a responsibility for every Kiwi that wants to get a job. You got a clue as what's happening here? What Labor's going to do? He's telling us what Australia's got and what New Zealand has, but what is Labor going to do? This is his golden opportunity on Breakfast TV to tell us what the plan is, to the nation. And he goes, and if we're talking about saving money, how about the thousands of Kiwis that are dodging their way out of tax? Perhaps every New Zealander ought to be paying their fair share. And that's it. That's Labor's economic plan. Not one statement in there about what they would do with tax rates at the higher end, because we know they are going to. We know they are. There was no stuff in there about, well, we would make cuts to the following programs that the current government's put in place. Not a mutter, not a murmur, not a nothing. But, oh boy, are they back on the attack when it comes to whether a piece of carpet looks shabby at Premier House and needs to be replaced. Well, Mr Speaker, if they've got a polling organisation working for them, get that polling organisation cranked up to start asking some questions of the public. Do they care about that stuff? Because I can tell you, no, they don't. No, they don't. That headline passes within a day. Yes, it might be the talking point on the day, but it passes. And long term, what New Zealanders are caring about is their kids' future and their hip pocket. They want to know that if they're going to vote for another party to be the government and for another person to be a Prime Minister of this country, that that person has a plan lays it out succinctly and says what they will do and has costings for it. And we've heard nothing of that from Labor, nothing of it. But getting into who was travelling here, whether the Prime Minister should have had a helicopter from Hamilton to Auckland, Mr Speaker, it's just rubbish.
Dr Kennedy Graham.